But with a partnership, owning 25% later, a year later, buying them out, I understood. I go, oh, okay, I can get involved in bigger things with the help of partnerships. I can learn things that I don't know with help of partnerships. And so with that, I just have been trying to always to be a good person, identify other good people, surround yourself with those people, and partnership with them. So as long as you have like-minded beliefs, you're all going after the same football, the partnerships have worked out. Bo and I's friendship, we knew we had those things together for a long time just because of the way we thought. And when we seen an opportunity in Texas with my brother, who's a partner of mine, we partnered up there and then just started doing more and more business through different partnerships.
Welcome to CREPN Radio for influential commercial real estate professionals who work with investors, buyers, and sellers of commercial real estate coast to coast. Whether you're an investor, broker, lender, property manager, attorney, or accountant, we're here to learn from the experts.
Welcome to Commercial Real Estate Pro Network's CREPN Radio. Thanks for joining us. My name is J. Darren Gross. This is the podcast focused on commercial real estate investment and risk management strategies. Weekly, we have conversations with commercial real estate investors and professionals to provide their experience and insight to help you grow your real estate portfolio. Today's interview is sponsored by Building Insurance and Risk. When you invest in real estate, it pays to work with a real estate investor protection specialist to protect yourself and your investment from catastrophic loss. The experts at Building Insurance and Risk focus on real estate investor protection. They provide you with multiple insurance coverage offers and a side-by-side coverage comparison. To learn more, go to buildinginsurancerisk.com. Today, my guests are Mike Merrigan and Bo Kort. After being best friends for 25 years, Mike and Bo started doing business together in 2015. They started purchasing buildings together in Texas. This partnership catapulted their success. Together, the duo has founded multiple eight-figure companies in Houston Motorsports, Kort Industries, and Mojave Storage. Since their partnership began in 2015, Mike and Bo have built their portfolio of 43 companies and over $150 million in commercial real estate. They're involved in 14 different industries: motorsports, industrial fabrication, specialty services, construction, and self-storage, to name a few. And in just a minute, we're going to speak with Mike and Bo about the power of partnership, how to scale a business in any industry. But first, a quick reminder. If you like our show, CREPN Radio, there are a couple things you can do to help us out. You can like, share, and subscribe. And as always, we encourage you to leave a comment. We'd love to hear from our listeners. Also, if you want to see how handsome our guests are, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. You can find us on YouTube at Commercial Real Estate Pro Network. And while you're there, please subscribe. With that, I want to welcome my guest, Mike Merrigan and Bo Kort. Welcome to CREPN Radio.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys having us.
Thanks for having us.
Well, it's my pleasure. Looking forward to our talk today. But before we get started, if you could take just a minute and share with the listeners a little bit about your background.
You want to go, Bo?
Go ahead. Fire away, Mike.
Okay. So we live in a town, Bullhead City, Arizona. We both graduated from the same high school, which is probably 5 miles from here.
Yep.
So we didn't get far, but we stayed in town because we recognized a huge opportunity. When we were young, the town was booming. People were moving here from Southern California. People were moving here from Phoenix. That is still playing out today. So I think we pretty much nailed it. We knew it was going to be a booming community and there was a lot of opportunity here. So I started out young. My last job was when I was 18 at one of the local casinos here across the river in Nevada. Opened up a chain of video stores with the help of a cousin. Again, was my first partnership. And that's what took me down the road of seeing the value of partnerships. During that period of time, also got involved opening up a small chain of laundromats. Again, that was done with a partnership. What it did, I also opened up an advertising company and got involved with real estate with my brother. But what I realized early on, just from the very first partnership, is one, it was a total positive experience. It allowed me to get into a business that I was underqualified for, knew nothing about, and did not have the financial resources to open up a full-fledged video store to go up against the big chains and everything was out there. But with a partnership, owning 25% later, a year later, buying them out, I understood. I go, oh, okay, I can get involved in bigger things with the help of partnerships. I can learn things that I don't know with help of partnerships. And so with that, I just have been trying to always to be a good person, identify other good people, surround yourself with those people, and partnership with them. So as long as you have like-minded beliefs, you're all going after the same football, the partnerships have worked out. Bo and I's friendship, we knew we had those things together for a long time just because of the way we thought. And when we seen an opportunity in Texas with my brother, who's a partner of mine, we partnered up there and then just started doing more and more business through different partnerships. So we are in multiple businesses. My primary business is furniture stores. So I have a small chain of retail furniture stores, just like you would think, brown building on the side of the road, try to do the best we can, and been doing that for a lot of years. Bo's primary business is pools. He does that. And then outside of those businesses, we have multiple partnerships and continue to do that in real estate, multifamily, storage business, and don't see any reason to slow down. But that's kind of where we're at. And we're still running hard as the day we started.
Yeah, like Mike said, it's been one of those things that our partnerships have allowed us to scale. And a lot of times people hit us up in our circles and go, well, how are you guys doing 43 different companies and all the real estate and everything? And a lot of it is we got a really great staff, but the true way to actually scale is to actually partner with some of those staff that show that they got a little something special about them. And that's what's allowed us to be able to get into the motorsports industry. We've got a large fabrication company out in Texas right now that's doing work with Tesla and SpaceX, and we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that we've done without partnering up with people that are especially in those service areas that we are not, and we can't be there on the daily.
Right.
So it's worked out well for us.
Oh, good.
The other thing is one thing I realized having retail business, and I've had multiple different retail businesses besides the video stores, is I was always in companies that I don't make someone a partner or piece of the action or whatever, you're always at risk of losing that person. And so when we have partners, we know, for instance, the amazing partner we have in the sports motorsports, that person is not out looking for a job today. He owns the company. We're a partner with him. He is not out looking for a job. And when that's not part of it, you always have that risk. And that risk can be huge because they take all the DNA that you create and put all those years in, and you train that person. And it still happens to us on a regular basis. Yeah. And we don't discourage people from moving on and bettering their lives. As a matter of fact, we encourage that, but it does hurt. And when you make someone a partner after you've spent years with them and you identify their abilities, it feels good to give someone a part of them, let them buy in, and it locks them in, and it allows us to move on to the next project. So we get a win-win. The partner gets a win-win. So we try to provide business background in expertise, and we get partners with people that are expert in a field that we may not be, and probably are not be, and most likely are not be. But we know what we know, and we partner with great people.
Well, I love there's two things I love that I heard. One is that you recognize you don't always have to know everything. You can become a something and then work your way in. And like you said, with the video stores, starting with 25% and
yes,
becoming the total owner. But the other side of that is your staff, and recognizing those that have talent and offering them an opportunity to be a partner. Because I think that a lot of times what's not recognized, and I think it's just kind of the nature of business. I think a lot of times the boss got into business because he was really good at what he did. So he left wherever he was and started his own thing, he or she, and but never understood how to teach the support staff. They'll hire people and wonder why they aren't successful. And, they answer, hey, it works for me. Why doesn't it work for you? I don't know. But they don't understand the value of training and kind of nurturing that the support staff or whoever they need to really propel their business. And then from that, to recognize that value, how not to lose that value, but also then make more value for everyone. I applaud you guys for having that vision and that model, and understanding, not only the opportunity for you to continue to grow your business, but the opportunity you provide to your staff there. That's encouraging.
Not just it, that being said, I mean, when you're offering opportunity to them, it's doing nothing but scaling you up. I just had a quick meeting this morning with a couple of our staff that are younger guys, and had a situation to deal with this morning in work and just personnel. And I told them, I said, the one thing you guys, like Mike and I have lived through the 80s and 90s and done business in the 80s and 90s. And our parents were
Old school people that didn't see partnerships as a value.
no, exactly. You know,
Work harder. Here's your quarter raise.
yeah. Mike has a bunch of stories of his mom going, yeah, you should offer them a dime raise or a quarter raise. And then my dad was the type that he was like, don't get too close to your employees. You got to make sure that, you know, keep distance or whatnot. But honestly, like that is out the window. And it's proven to us through the scaling that we've done, that our way of doing things and not thinking those 80s, 90s style of managing people and not giving opportunities and keep all your cards so close to your chest that it actually prevents you from opportunities that are out there. And we've got some really good people that have worked for us that have allowed us to scale, that we did bring something to it, but they brought just as much, if it's not work ethic, but you know, just their education that they brought with them, their experiences they brought with them. And it's allowed us to scale, to give up some, you know, you don't have to have everything our way.
I just think, again, that empowering of people and kind of that, you know, like you mentioned, the mindset of the past, it's kind of a fear mindset of, and I see it, and I've seen a bunch in, you know, my life is that, well, if I give you some, then there won't be as much for me.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you know, like a limited amount of opportunity as opposed to kind of an unlimited amount. And so congrats to you guys for seeing that and implementing that. I don't see that that's always the case, and more so not the case, but that's great. So you guys clearly, you met in high school. Did I get that right?
I'm
Actually,
older.
yeah, Mike's a couple years older than me. Him and my dad, Mike was 19 and he's in Rotary Club with my dad. I'm like,
I was trying to level up, man. This is before the internet or anything. I go, who's the smartest, oldest guys that know the most? Those Rotary guys. All right, I'll join up.
So Mike was there hustling that, and I got to know him through my dad. And Mike's got a younger brother that I went to school with, but Mike and I became close friends probably 25, almost, you know, at least 25 years ago, 28 years ago. And it just always knew that he was in business, and I always had the drive to want to get into business. I took off, went to college for a few years, but whenever I got back, he was buying up businesses that I was pushing on my dad to try and jump into a partnership with him and do something and buy a car wash. Mike had already bought it, and Mike and my dad knew one another from Rotary. But yeah, that's how far back we go.
Got it. So, I mean, Mike, it sounds like you've always had some sort of a hustle. Before doing the video store, were you an employee, or, I mean, do you have paper routes? What would you do before?
I honestly don't have a memory of not trying to hustle. I just don't, my memory doesn't go back that far. So actually, when I was 6, I was knocking door to door selling coasters that I'd made with my sister. So I literally never have a memory of not having some kind of business. And in my head, the lemonade stand, I took it a lot more serious than most kids that have a lemonade stand that set up a table. You know, I built the whole cart. I had it all. My dad had a shop. And so I was able to build put on the back of my wagon that I towed. So if we took a vacation to Mexico, I came back with all the pop bottles in the back of the camper van we had or whatever. So I've just always been in business. And when that opportunity came, I knew I was looking for an opportunity. And I mean, I was like consciously looking, and I was at a funeral and overheard my brother, who had struggled with alcohol for a while, being drunk, talking to a cousin. And I just overheard, and I just listened to, hey, he's looking for a location. I came back, did all the research, did all the right things, called him up. He was in Fargo, had a chain of video stores. And I go, I don't know if you remember, and I'm 18 years old. So it's a kid. And I go, but you said if you wanted to move up this way, and I had everything, all my ducks in a row. And he was a man of his word. And that taught me a lot. You know, if you say something, you do it. And he jumped on a plane and looked at all the research I'd done. And back then, if you found a location, you're pretty much making money. They were really successful
in the video store
business back then. So, but he was a man of his word. And a year later, he informed me that because I got my feelings hurt. He wants me to buy him out. And he goes, no, because business is a commodity. It's meant to be traded and sold and such. So now you've got your business going. I live here. You've got it going. Now it's time for you to buy me out at a fair profit. And this is how I'm going to let you buy me out. And I'm like, all right. I was scared to death. I didn't want to lose him, because I felt like I needed him, even though he was in Fargo. But anyways, he made it available for me to purchase him out. And then it just got me thinking right going forward. He's kind of set the base for me and taught me a lot of things about, live and below your means and not getting fat with a company when it is doing successful. I made a lot of mistakes and it cost me, I didn't know how to pay my taxes or 941s or anything. So I did make mistakes and I had to get caught up on penalties interest. That taught me how to hire a bookkeeper, how to hire a CPA, hire some of the things that he thought I already knew. He didn't realize that I was a kid. But it was successful. I was able to learn a lot from it, and we're still learning as we go and trying to do better every day. But partnerships have definitely helped us scale and getting different things like we said before. So I love partnerships and I love trying to attract quality people. And so that's what it does. When you put some standards down and you live your life right, you can attract like-minded people.
Yeah, I love the well, one of the things I've always loved about real estate kind of is the kind of the Wild West aspect about it, where it's where a buyer and seller meet. That's the price. Similar to what you talked about, you got into business not really knowing. I mean, you heard about it, you put it together, and you had their support. But when they, were ready to say, no, you can fly on your own kind of thing, all those lessons you learn, and I feel like that's something that's not always appreciated or understood, is the value of the lesson learned through the mistakes. Whereas yes. I feel like a lot of what is out there today is get in, build it fast, grow it fast, and sell it. Everybody's looking for an exit. Yeah, you see so many like, I think probably the whole .com boom really kind of exposed us to all that. But I see in all sorts of businesses. I mean, I know in insurance that I'm in, there are people out there that their sole goal is to build a book of business so they can sell it. It used to be insurance was kind of like a Johnson and Sons or something. You had some sort of a multi-generational business, but it seems like that's not as prevalent.
That's everything today, I think, right? I mean, you get on social media and you check it out, and all these young entrepreneurs that are flipping homes and they're doing this and driving Lamborghinis. And that's why we started doing our social media and started opening up and helping people out and doing some coaching in that, because we knew that we'd put the groundwork in and made the mistakes and figured shit out on our own. And we're long-term hold guys. Mike and Dino and myself. Mike's older brother Dino lives out in Texas, but we own all of our buildings and businesses together. But there is probably 98% of everything that we've ever bought together we still own.
Yeah,
because it's not a quick flip. It's a long game, especially commercial real estate. It's a long, drawn-out game. You got to be patient and disciplined and persistent. And eventually that river of money will come, but it's not coming right away. It's coming down the road.
And we like to expose that right away with people we work with. We know nothing about getting rich quick. Nothing. Don't have one. Change the subject. Tune out, because if you're tuning in for that, for us, we're the turtle. We're slow. It says you got to pay down debt. You got to wait for appreciation to happen, depreciation at the end of the year. Everything is a slow thing in real estate. And these people anybody that was flipping houses, hey, my hat's off to them. Probably made a lot of money. But if you're living off that flip money, where are you at today?
That's the problem. If you're living
you're knocking on our door wondering, hey, you got something for us? Hey, you flipped 40 homes in the last 6 years and you didn't keep one of them? You didn't think about keeping one? And that happened in our office. We have a lot of people come into our office and for advice and coaching. We love having an open office policy, but we look at a lot of people that are, 40, 50 years old, looks like a deer in the headlights, because they didn't buy the fourplex and just hang on to it and use it for travel money later on. And then maybe bought another one. Now you got two of them, and now you can do whatever you want when you retire.
Even if you buy it wrong.
Even if you buy it wrong, time's going to fix it. But fast stuff, we're not in anything fast.
No, I love it. You're kind of preaching to the choir. My wife and I have been kind of the slow skis. We're definitely in the right lane, the far right lane. But you mentioned a couple things that, you can buy wrong and still do well over time.
Yes.
Raise my hand on that one a couple times. And also that I think what gets lost in what you said about pay down the principal. when interest rates have been so low for so long, nobody thought about what's the cost of this cap. Oh, it was all about, get in the deal, gross it up kind of thing, then sell it to the next guy, and leave some meat on the bone, or, that was kind of the thing. Well, where are those guys now? They're selling at a discount because all of their, investors want their money back, or whatever, they can't even afford to keep it based on the way that the loan is structured, based on the financings coming due, and so they're, whatever they put into it, they're not getting the return that they were seeking. But if they didn't have that requirement to sell, or if they could wait out that thing, they would benefit, like you said, over time the appreciation does happen. I know, I've said this many times, but the first time I got a rental, I didn't even understand depreciation. I didn't understand appreciation. All I knew is that if you were renting from me and you stayed in for 30 years, I would have, something that's free and clear. That was the limit of my understanding of,
Sure.
because that's all I could see in front of me was this mortgage,
Yeah.
And so I love that kind of mindset, because I think, Warren Buffett, everybody cites him. Every time I tune into him or listen to him or read something, it's never about selling. It's always a buy and hold position forever. And, so I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you said, and just kind of the slow growth to wealth, and, kind of the pay down the principal, because I swear that it's really sexy to take cash out when loans are free, but when they adjust the rates and you're paying 9 or 10%, how sexy is that to be paying, or how much fun is that?
If you didn't buy right, you're getting ready to lose it, because you can only hang on to a loser for so long. It starts tasting terrible. So you'll get rid of it sooner or later if you're having to add cash to it. But one thing, like what we preach to ourselves and our partners that we're in business with, is you can only buy it once. An old guy told us that a long time ago. And so we kind of live by that. And so our goal has always been to try to buy properties under value and then add value to them, keep them long-term, and let the depreciation do its job, let the rents go up, and just keep them long-term. So
we just did it recently. I mean, we just did a deal that's in our own backyard. We got to the point, we started out with small light industrial buildings, 300,000 maybe $600,000 or $700,000, and then we started doing bigger deals and buying strip malls and big box stores and then larger storage complexes. And we said, we're not going to do the small deals anymore. But even when the small deals come back to us, we said that for about 6 weeks. And then next thing you know, we're buying another small deal. We bought one just in our own backyard, and we probably own nearly 50 buildings in our local community here. And we thought, we bought them all. Nope, we found another one. And even on this deal, we bought it $200,000 under value. It's already got somebody leasing it. The lease is 50% of what it should be, but we still bought it because it's only got 2 more years on it. So it's not going to cash flow for 2 years, but it's going to be break even. But after that 2 years, we're sitting day one, we close escrow. We made $200,000. So we're $200,000 richer the day that we close escrow. We will sit on this thing for the next 24 months and break even with our $200,000 sitting in our savings account, collecting only appreciation.
Yep.
But in 24 months, we'll raise the rents. We'll make it to where it cash flows, and it's still paying down debt.
Yeah.
And we're not planning on taking checks anytime soon. So someday we'll break the dam loose and start collecting the cash flow coming down the river. But for right now, it just makes sense. If we can get into the deal cheap enough, we'll get into anything.
Yeah, we'll put it in our inventory there, and it just, we don't have anything that costs us money, or we don't buy it. And so it takes talent. We didn't realize, it is, people go, well, that's hard to do. It is hard to do. But guess what? If that's what you do for a living, if that's what you do is find undervalued properties, you get good at recognizing them. You get good at finding them. Just like go home, start playing darts tonight. Guess what? Play it every night. In a year, you're going to be really good. So that's how we've done it. So we just got really good at identifying properties that have, we call it the 3 Ds. It's either divorce, death, or distressed properties. And it's 3Ds. We catch one of those, guess what? We got a good chance. And we're very patient. So we build relationships either with the old guy, and then a lot of times they'll pass, and then we're talking to the kids. But we've already got such a relationship. The kids know about us, or else we'll just call. No, I'm not ready to retire yet. 3 years later, but we'll check in every 6 months, and it happens all the time. So we don't bug them. We just become friends with them. Just we're inquiring about their business and or property. And people, what people don't realize a lot of times is people are emotionally attached to the property, especially older generation. So they like to sell it to someone they know is going to go in good hands. They see what we've done. We always add value by paint, by new fences, gates, whatever we're going to do. We try to add value to every property. So when you tell the old guy the different buildings you bought, they feel good about, oh, this legacy is going to carry on, because a lot of times their kids aren't interested in their properties or whatever. So we make it easy for them. A lot of times these old guys, they've been in business so long making gears or awnings or whatever the hell they do. They don't even know how to list a property. It's like going talking to used car salesmen. They don't want nothing to do with it. So those buildings will sit there and deteriorate. We get a hold of them. They haven't been in them. Sometimes it's like going back in time. When you walk in these buildings, the calendar from 1999 is still hanging on the wall. It's happened multiple times, but we befriend those people, give them, a lot of times we can give them their asking price because they only paid this much for it 30 years ago. They want this much. No problem, Mr. Johnson. We're going to take care of your property. We get to work on it right away. They stop by. A lot of times they're happy about it, whatever. So we try to make it easy, and we try to do the right thing and get those buildings back in action.
We got so many stories of that. Last year, I think it was last year, we bought the 8-plex from the old guy that's like, I think it's 84.
Yeah.
And he comes in, and Mike, I said, well, we can give you a small down if you'd like to do an owner carrier or whatnot. And Mike had thrown out, maybe we can give you $100,000 down. It was like an $800,000 purchase. And the guy goes, well, Mike, I don't even need that much. Maybe, why don't you give me 50? So, but the thing about it is a lot of people, especially young cats watching social media and wanting to get their first investment deal, they don't understand. It's a long game. It's a relationship game. And then just keep those contacts and keep steady with those people and build relationships. And anybody that's involved in sales, people sell. Yeah. It's not the product. And so in investing in real estate and commercial real estate, which we love, yeah, it's a relationship game.
And we have a passion for it. So it's not like these old cats, they're smart. They're not, they're smart guys. They'd rather let the property sit there forever. So they're not willing to take low ball offers. So that's not our style. We don't come in and chop them off at the knees. We look at their property, talk about what other values are, and we work with them and make it easy for them. But we don't go in there and go, we don't have a mass mailer going out. None. We don't have any. We don't have mass phone calls going out. We strategically pick areas. We strategically pick the types of buildings and show total respect and love for the real estate. And they can see it and sense it in us, right?
Just like you said, it's the Wild West is the way.
That's what makes it fun.
We say all the time, we're like cowboys. I mean, honestly, we don't. We'll look at things off cap rate and stuff like that. But a lot of our acquisitions, and we buy bigger projects now, so it's not always an old guy that we get a chance to talk to. But anybody that wants to get started, that's the best way to start.
Keep it in your neighborhood within 10 miles of your house and find a piece of real estate and practice with striking out. Go to 30 different buildings, find out who the owner is, find out what the taxes are, find out what the insurance are, find out what the rents are going for, whether it's multifamily or if it's light industrial or if it's storage. And then guess what? Don't plan on buying it. Just use it for practice. Oh, now I know how to gather that information. Now I know everything that's happening in the 10 mile. Build a relationship with a hotshot realtor that you can show respect to and go, hey, guess what? In the next 24 months, I want to buy a piece of property, and start building that relationship. And so that when they have a good deal and you've got a relationship, because every realtor knows a cousin, well, if you have any great deals, let me know. They ain't calling nobody, but we literally have people call us almost on a daily.
Yeah, text message, phone call, whatever.
If something goes up for sale in our area, either in Texas in our area, we're in 2 different cities there or here, we know it before anybody else because they know we can close deals. We know we're not goofing around, and our passion for the properties.
No, I love the kind of the old school approach. It sounds like the Rotary meetings paid off there.
They did.
So I'm assuming which one of you is president of the local Rotary group right now? Are you still?
Well, honestly, I left after probably a short period of time. I just realized I wasn't ready for that. I was too hustling, man. I slept
Sure.
standing up, man. It was just I needed to be at work.
But I think, all kidding aside, the
Yeah.
networking,
We still use those people today in our network that I met at Rotary.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
right. And again, it's the power of I've got a client that always talks about, real estate's a belly to belly business. It's as much as the social media is kind of the, I don't know, it's the opportunity to get your word out there. And if you're trying to sell something, it's a vehicle and you can't ignore it.
Sure.
The yellow pages, I don't even know if they make a yellow pages anymore. But social media is definitely the way you get the word out if you're trying to attract people. But I think what you've hit on that I totally appreciate is the power of the networking. I've belonged to multiple different networking groups over the years, and those relationships, whether or not I'm still a member of that group or not, are people that I know I can count on. Whatever they do, and likewise, me as an insurance broker, they still reach out to me. So I think that's a big takeaway. I want to make sure people understand that the power of networking, and then also just kind of as we were talking about the patient, the patience that capital has, and the patience that you guys exercise in acquiring deals, and also nurturing those relationships, because if you think you're the first guy to call up somebody that has a property offering to buy it, you're the first guy to call. I mean, wake up. I mean, I get, I'm sure you get solicited all day, every day about every property you've got,
Yes.
and whether it be the phone call or the email, or, I mean, you can get some of these that are texts now. I'm like, I don't know how they can get my number, but it's not new. And I think the reason why those systems work is it's a numbers game. If you're willing to put in, the effort to approach 1,000 people and get, two people that will listen to you, then that's probably, a reasonable opportunity for you. But if you're trying to build your wealth, your portfolio in a community that you live in, I don't know how networking can be topped. And getting to know the people. I mean, that is really smart. I'm kind of curious. You mentioned that people all the time are contacting you. I'm assuming that it's kind of one of those momentum things as well. You got your first one, and then you found a second one, and as word gets out that you guys are, in the acquisition mode, or that you're good operators, or that you haven't screwed anybody over, that probably lends itself to more people that are in a similar boat that maybe you didn't know, that knew somebody that sold to you, or coming to you. You find that to be the case?
Oh, all the time. I mean, it happens all the time. You're right. I mean, it happens on the daily.
Yeah.
Like Mike had said, we're getting a phone call before stuff even hits the market. Hey, we're getting ready to put this on the market. We wanted to find out if you guys wanted to take a look at it. Or we have one old guy telling another old guy that might have a building, and then next thing you know, they're contacting us to say, hey, I heard you bought so-and-so's and just want to let you know I'm going to retire here in the next couple of years. You can come down and see me.
Yeah.
So a lot of that happens.
And we realize that most, and I mean most, we don't ever buy them. We don't buy most of them that come to us, but it's nice to have the first option to look at them, because we're not retail real estate buyers. So like I said, our deals, and especially with interest rates where they are, you really have to be careful, and you have to be really diligent to make sure, what the value add is going to cost. So we don't buy anything retail. So we have to say no to most things. But every once in a while, someone needs a quick close, or for whatever reason, we make them work. We make it easy for them. And believe me, if something works, we'll make it work. But we don't try to force something to work that's not in our range of what we do. We have a criteria.
And we're just very clear too. I mean,
we don't.
There's no games or anything. Whenever anybody that's a banker in town or a realtor or anybody that's done business with us, it's very cut and dry. Especially with Mike. Mike sets the tone right out of the gate. I'm not gonna massage this at all. It's either all good or we're not, we're not gonna move forward on it. So.
And that's another thing about partnership. Bo is really good at the longer game than I am. And some of the relationships have different, not some, they're all different personalities. And a lot of times he's better at those type of negotiations. So I'll just instantly, we know each other so well, it's easy to tell who should be talking now. And so in those personalities, he knows he can build those relationships better on some people than I can. If I got a sharp, I like the grumpy old guys or the people that are a little sharper as far as, edgier. I can jump in and shoot back and forth, and I'm never going to stutter. I'm not going to slip. When they need massaging, we give them to Bo, and he massages.
I'll talk to Grandma for months on end.
And he does.
Yes,
like my eyes will glaze over.
Yeah.
I go, when are you going in for the kill? He goes, in 2 more conversations. Oh, I'll be like, no, tell him this, tell him that. He goes, no, I got it. He won't listen to anything I have to say, but that's partnerships, right? I mean, if you did it all my way, I wouldn't get the properties. You do it, we split it up.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I mean, the power of the partnership is that you get both strategies, as opposed to just the one. And I mean, it's beautiful the way you guys are making that work. I'm curious. You've mentioned kind of some seller financing. Out of the number of deals that you've done, can you guess on how many of those, or percentage wise, how many of those have been owner financing?
Just real quick, I'll let Bo go after this. There's not one that, just so your audience knows, we love owner finance, and everybody gets asked that. And so many people don't use that as the first option. Yeah. So I'll let Bo take it from here, but we love owner financing, and the percentages, I'm not sure, maybe you have a better idea.
I would say, well, even like dealing with community banks, we didn't start dealing with community banks until probably around 2016.
There's a period where they wouldn't loan us money. Back in the day after the recession, we were, no one wanted to do business with guys like us.
Yeah, so we had some hard money guys that we'd established a relationship with and got their money back to them pretty quick, and they were always really happy with us. So we had that option in Texas, but I would say probably 60% we'll pitch it on all of them. But I would say before we started doing business with the community banks and not using hard money, probably 60% of them, I would say probably 30 or 35, 40% of them now we get owner financing on. And then we coach people on that also. We have a Zoom call that we do once a week, and we got a good network of young entrepreneurs and real estate investors that they'd contacted us. They were trying to get their first storage facility. We actually coached them through getting owner financing in second position and came zero out of pocket on their first storage facility. We've got about 50 different storage facilities, and these guys were like, all right, well, we want a storage now. We got some multifamily. We want a storage. We want a storage. We want to build like you guys did Mojave storage. So they identified one in their local 10-mile radius of their community, and went and talked to the realtor. And then I told him, I go, talk to the owner.
Yeah, you got to
ask the realtor to get to the owner. And I go, but before I tell you that, he is going to tell you no wholeheartedly, that he does not want to let you talk to the owner. So you got to come up with a good reason why, whether it's the doors and you want to check how the hinges work on them or whatever it might be. You got to find some inventive way to talk to the owner.
Thank you.
They got in front of the owner loved them, told their story about them buying other
properties in the
area and how well they've been doing with it. And ended up, long story short, they got the loan from the community bank, went back to the owner that they established a relationship with once again, asked him, which he could have said no, if he would carry the down payment. He said, sure, I'll carry the down payment. All right, you'll have to be in second position. You okay with that? Yep, I'll do that. These guys bought their first storage facility with zero money out of pocket.
And that's the best part about real estate, like you say, in the Wild West. It is the Wild West. It's just what two, male or female here, but it's just what two dudes agree on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm going to take your car for $100 and take it across country. All right, go ahead. Or it could be $1 million. It's just what two guys sitting there, or ladies sitting there, come up with. And then that's what makes it so fun. Is like, what are we going to be able to get this for? How are we going to do it? How are we going to make both parties happy?
Yeah, I think the uninitiated, and I know when we bought our first house, it was all about the sign in the yard and kind of following the protocol kind of thing. But my first investment was truly, kind of I didn't even think I was going to buy it. A customer was telling me that he wanted to go buy something else. And all the while I'd been recognizing all the money he was making. I said, I got to get into this, and He said, you want to get in? I'll sell you this one. Like, what? You know, but it kind of just really opened my eyes to just how the thing works and, you know, the opportunities. And it's all about how a willing seller and a willing buyer, it's where they meet. And I think the key operative in that, or the key word in that sentence, is the willing, because there's plenty of unwilling people. And I'm sure you experience that, where people come with a price doesn't work for you guys. But if you have a willing seller, I mean, everything's possible. And
And a lot of the times they're not willing at first. And so a lot of people, oh no, that can't happen. They said no. Yeah, how many no's I've gotten? I've gotten so many no's. I would say 90% of the properties that we bought and we had a personal relationship buying them started with a no.
Yeah.
The building we're sitting in right now, we have a big flex space at 64,000 square feet. Mike and I go, we started renting one of the buildings. I said, but we need to meet the owner. We got to call the owner. So figured out how to get the owner's number from the guy that's managing the property, call the guy up. Hey, just want to let you know, we rented unit C and really enjoy it. Appreciate the lease and thinking that we're going to extend that lease. And hey, by the way, at any time you think you might want to sell this building, we are interested. I love your building. It's perfect. I mean, we're in this type of space in Houston. The guy goes, Bo, you know what? I'm not ready to sell right now. He goes, I like my building and it provides his best friend, which was like in his late 70s, was managing it. And it was more providing a job for his buddy. Mm-hmm. Well, that guy ended up a few months later, wasn't able to health issues. And the guy called us back up. He goes, all right, ready to sell the building to you, Bo. I said, all right, perfect. Let me know what your price is. We bought this building for $1,350,000 from this old gentleman. And we ended up putting another piece of property for collateral. Didn't even put anything down on this. Had another piece of property worth $300 or whatever that was paid for.
Down payment.
And we're getting ready to expand on this building. Just got an appraisal on it for 6.4. But it was all through a phone call and a relationship.
And anybody else in the 64,000 unit could have called the owner and asked them to sell. Nobody else called. And when we got a no, we still called a couple more times, and then he did eventually call, and we gave him, I think, his asking price. And
yes, we gave him exactly what he asked.
So you give a guy his asking price, but at the same time, he was on the East Coast. His buddy was out here managing it. He'd never even seen this building to this day. He's never seen it. But that just goes to show there's opportunity there as long as you inquire, as long as you network, as long as you're always looking. But if you're not always looking and I never can find a deal like that, because that's not what's most important to you. Your most important to you is Monday Night Football, I guess, or whatever you're into, but that's not how we roll. We're looking for things.
I love it. Hey, I wanted to ask you, the investment strategy obviously is kind of a long-term hold. You've mentioned value add a number of times, and I guess asset class. I've heard you talk about flex, industrial, multifamily, retail. Is there any asset class that you guys haven't invested in, or you swear off or won't do? Or
Section 8.
We have never done Section 8. You hear a lot about that. And so honestly, I just haven't gone down that rabbit hole to educate myself on it. So I just don't know a lot about it. But we like real estate, and it's all, you break everything down to a lemonade stand in your head, so there's not much we won't try. One thing we did learn in the Verbo thing, when everyone jumped on that, we got involved in that. We learned in our community, it's a seasonal business. So in our opinion, in our area only, it's a terrible business to be in, because you make a lot of money in one season, you make nothing in the other, and your bills are always moving forward. So I would just advise anybody that's into Verbo. It was sure neat when that came out. Everyone had to try it. And I was one of those people too. But then later on, I realized, I like the concierge service downstairs. I like the food there. I like all the amenities when I travel. So we kind of quit using them unless we're having a family get together or something. We're a large group of people. So we've sold off most of our Airbnbs just because it wasn't a space that was profiting the way we thought. And I just advise people, anything on the internet, just be careful, because there's nothing easy. Nothing's easy. Airbnb is not easy. And in a lot of places now, it's not working. So be careful, but there's not much we won't get into as far as real estate.
Yeah.
No, I think the Airbnb thing is very location specific, and you got to have some sort of year-round attraction, like you're saying. Otherwise, it's always been my resistance to any kind of vacation rental thing, was just, if it's not vacation,
no.
Season, I'm paying the bills, so I like that. So, but hey guys, if we could, I'd like to shift gears here for a second. As I mentioned, by day I'm an insurance broker, and as such, I work with my clients to assess risk and determine what to do with the risk. And there's three strategies we typically consider. We first look to see if there's a way we can avoid the risk. When that's not an option, we look to see if there's a way we can minimize the risk. And if we cannot avoid nor minimize the risk, we look to see if there's a way we can transfer the risk. And that's what an insurance policy is. It's a risk transfer vehicle. And as such, I like to ask my guests if they can look at their own situation and identify what they consider to be the biggest risk. And it could be the Fed rates, could be the market, could be the local laws or jurisdiction, whatever it is that you consider to be the biggest risk. And again, for clarification, while I am an insurance broker, I'm not necessarily looking for an insurance-related answer. And so if you're willing, I'd like to ask you, Mike Merrigan and Bo Kort, what is the biggest risk?
I'll go first. If you're, because you're in insurance, one of the best feelings I've got as far as an insurance thing and looking at risk is once I had it explained to me, once I did get some assets, an umbrella policy gives me a lot of comfort. Never have had to use it, but I feel like it's a good investment. So if you're talking about literally insurance, I like the fact that I have an umbrella policy to protect things that I might not be thinking of. So I love having that. And I think it's a good value, and I'm glad I have it. And I don't think I'll ever not have it. On the other side of just generally speaking risk, one of the things that I learned, the biggest risk is not taking a risk, not taking the chance of buying real estate. I don't care, then buy an index fund, throw in your 10% every year or every month or whatever. But the biggest risk in life is don't take a risk. And guess where you're going to end up? You can draw a picture. You're going to be just fine. You're going to be 30 pounds overweight. You're going to have a retirement that's going to be small. You're going to just live this life. As opposed to take a few risks, get a little older, take care of yourself physically, eat where you want, stay where you want, live where you want, do what you want. It's a lot happier life. Don't take a risk is the biggest risk you can take, in my opinion.
I agree completely. It's going to be hard to follow that one because that one is so true.
Drop the mic.
I would say the other thing that I was thinking of is in risk and in real estate investing is just staying disciplined and don't get emotional over things. And I think partnerships help in that. Like Mike talked about, he's good at one thing, I'm good at another. Another thing that we lean on each other about a lot of times is we'll come up with a deal and we'll have a feeling about it. We'll be in the office and we'll spend hours just going over it and this and that. Okay, what do you guys want to do? And then one of us usually speaks up and goes, let's wait till tomorrow. Let's wait till tomorrow. Nobody make a decision tonight. We're supposed to call him tonight. Well, call him back and let him know we're not going to talk to him until tomorrow. Just let him know something came up, whatever it is. And we sleep on it. We come back and just make sure that we're not being emotional about the decisions that we're making. And because of being like that, and a lot of that is Mike's good about that, to hold us all accountable for things like that. But it has saved us tremendously on not making mistakes. And mistakes are good, and you learn from mistakes, and that's why you start small so that you don't have the type of mistakes that crumble you. Yeah. But you educate yourself from those mistakes, and it keeps you to be disciplined and not get too emotional about things. And your old self will be thanking your ass whenever you got that money coming to you, because you were disciplined, persistent, and
well, that's those are two great things. That kind of the emotional thing, and I love that. Giving it an extra, sleep on it kind of night kind of thing, because that is I can tell many stories about that, and it's all about that reaction that had I just like backed up and checked what I was doing there, I wouldn't have made the mistake. So good words. Hey, Mike and Bo, where can the listeners go if they'd like to learn more or connect with you?
Best place to find us is if you go to Instagram, it's at Mike and Bo, spelled out AND. An easy way to do it, and Mike and I are horrible about email, but if you text us, we can get right back to you. So if you text us at 928-605-4335, Again, that's 928-605-4335. We will get right back to you right away. We offer a great coaching program. We love doing what we do, and we love sharing our knowledge with people. And so, if you reach out to us on Instagram at Mike and Bo, or shoot us a text, we'd be sure like to get back to you.
Or send us a deal. We'll analyze it,
Yeah.
write it for you, and help you with it or work with you on it. So we're always looking for a new deal.
So, well, Mike Merrigan and Bo Kort, I cannot say thanks enough for taking the time to talk today. I've enjoyed it, learned a lot, and look forward to doing it again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
the time.
Absolutely.
All right. For our listeners, if you like this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, the more you know, the more you grow. That's all we've got this week. Until next time, thanks for listening to Commercial Real Estate Pro Network's CREPN Radio.
You're listening to CREPN Radio for influential commercial real estate professionals. For more information on this or any of our guests, like us on Facebook, CREPN Radio.